Digital governance or ethical governance, corporate governance, bureaucratic governance, democratic governance, enterprising governance, catalytic governance, are different models of governance. Governance is common. We take into consideration the nature, content, and orientation of governance, impact quotient of that governance, what kind of changes or what kind of value addition that governance is making in the day-to-day life of the people. Accordingly, we describe it as one other model of governance. And what is governance? Governance is nothing but the government in action. What is government? Government is a system. System, what kind of system? A system of institutions. A system of institutions. A system of institutions, law, some individuals, groups, and communities is specifically selected or elected for the purpose of governing the society. Governing the society means influencing the society. Influencing the society means you regulate, you control, you facilitate, you adjudicate, you reconciliate, you anticipate. A lot many things are there. So at the top you have government. When government exercises its authority, institutions of the government, the functionaries in those institutions, they exercise their authority to discharge different kinds of responsibilities. What comes out is governance. So governance is the exercise of the authority by the government. And depending on the nature and quality of governance, its orientation and its impact, what kind of changes it is going to bring or it is bringing in the day-to-day life of the people in society, we describe it as good governance or bad governance or catalytic governance or enterprising governance, or ethical governance. So first of all, you should focus only on governance, and then we will come to the word digital. You will have to make just a little addition of information technology. So what kind of changes it has brought in the nature, content, or quality of governance, accordingly it will be explained. So do not focus much on digital, focus only on governance. So whatever be the model of governance, there are certain things, there are some commonalities that you need to identify. Governance in whatever model you discuss or you consider, governance invariably involves a kind of cyclical process. Governance invariably involves a cyclical process. I am talking in the context of a modern democratic welfare state. So governance involves a cyclical process, that is input, throughput, output. Simple to understand. You have public at large. Public at large. If it is Indian society, the Indian society, there are different groups, different communities based on caste or class or region or religion. Lot many things are there. Indian society can be called truly, as it happens in many developing countries, polynormative society, polycommunal society. You have more than one communities within the Indian society. So it is little bit complex, or little bit more complex than most of the society. So you have public at large, and then you have government institutions exercising authority known as governance. Now the governance, what is governance? Governance is a cyclical process that includes input. Governance incorporates input, that you collect something from the society. Input, then throughput, then output. And the process goes on and on, along with feedback and application of correctives. What exactly is that? Governance is an act of harmonization of interest. Governance involves deliverance of quality goods and services, different kinds of goods and services to society to improve the quality of life of people. Governance involves some kind of regulatory exercise. Governance involves some kind of facilitatory exercise. Governance involves some kind of adjudicative exercise. You adjudicate disputes. You carry out various developmental work. You facilitate lot many things. For better quality of education, health, infrastructure, lot many things are there. Then you control, you regulate. You develop a structure. You define what is right and what is wrong within the bounds of law, So you regulate, you control, you adjudicate, you facilitate, and reconciliation is also there. When there is a conflict of interest between two groups and communities, that is also required to be harmonized. Lot many things are there in governance. But governance, whatever be the model, invariably involves a cyclical process of input. You collect input that needs and aspirations of the society. Needs and aspirations of society, their problems or challenges, all such things are required to be taken into consideration. You work on that. This is throughput. Throughput is concerned with the process of governance. The process. Okay, so you apply lot many things here. You collect input, you work on those input, and you accordingly formulate policies. You think of enacting law, or you amend the existing law, or you decide to enact you decide to do away with a law which has become irrelevant. Okay, then you formulate policies, your fiscal policy, monetary policy, the industrial policy, commercial policy, nuclear policy, defense policy, environmental policy, monetary policy. Lot many policies are there. So public health policy, education policy. So, the throughput, it involves a process that in your law or the policies, programs and projects, all lot many things are, decided by the government. It's formulated or designed by the government. And then out of that comes out the goods and services for the society. That is output. So you collect input from the society, intelligence, that collection of information. Then you also consider their needs and aspirations through your communication process. You collect lot many things. You work on those intelligence, that input, you work on that, and accordingly you formulate various policies, you decide to enact laws, various programs and projects you design, and then these are implemented. The final outcome is your output, that is goods and services being delivered to the society. People are satisfied, good enough. If people are not satisfied, then you collect feedback. That feedback is collected. Then you apply correctives. Either there would be a problem in your collection of input, आपने सही जानकारी नहीं ली, जनता की बात को आपने सही से नहीं समझा, अदरवाइज देयर विल बी प्रॉब्लम इन द प्रोसेस. आपने उस जानकारी के ऊपर जैसे काम करना चाहिए था, जैसा एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्शन आपको लेना चाहिए था, या जिस ढंग के लॉज या पॉलिसीज़ की ज़रूरत थी, आपने वैसा नहीं किया, तो गलती यहाँ भी हो सकती है. और या फिर ऐसा हो सकता है कि फाइनल जो गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज जो बाहर आएगी, ठीक है, आउटपुट, ये यहाँ पे कोई समस्या आ गई. सब कुछ ठीक था, आपने सब कुछ सही बनाया था, बट इन द कोर्स ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन सम काइंड ऑफ मिस्टेक, सम काइंड ऑफ ब्लंडर इज बीन कमिटेड. ठीक है, इसकी वजह से सोसाइटी इज नॉट गेटिंग व्हाट दे वर एक्चुअली लुकिंग फॉर. पॉइंट इज क्लियर. सो ईदर देयर विल बी प्रॉब्लम विद इनपुट और थ्रूपुट, और इट मे बी आउटपुट एंड द प्रोसेस. अकॉर्डिंगली यू कलेक्ट फीडबैक. द गवर्नमेंट बहुत ही प्रोएक्टिव गवर्नमेंट है, और गवर्नमेंट डायनामिक गवर्नमेंट अगर है तो वो ऐसी चलने नहीं देगी, वो फीडबैक कलेक्ट करती है, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली दे अप्लाई करेक्टिव्स. या तो इनपुट में प्रॉब्लम होगा, या थ्रूपुट, या आउटपुट, एंड द प्रोसेस गोज ऑन एंड ऑन. एंड वंस ए प्रॉब्लम इज सॉल्व्ड, अदर सेट ऑफ नीड्स एंड एस्पिरेशंस कम इनटू existence, and the process goes on and on. Yes, I tell you, this is known as governance. So governance is not merely exercising of authority in a modern democratic setup. It is not just a vertical structure, that is the government, and on the you have administrators, and then you have administered. You have the government and you have governed. It's not like that. Governance is a collective enterprise. It means our ability to govern the society, our ability to govern the society, effectively depends heavily on, the extent to which society contributes in the process of governance. ठीक है, in their contribution in the the policy making or policy implementation as far as possible. Public participation in the decision making process, and then public participation in the process of implementation as well. Without cooperation from society, policy formulation or policy implementation, both of them will not be so much successful. Okay. There can be few exceptions. There can be certain areas which are technically very complex, where you don't need and you should not seek public participation in decision making process. So this is your governance. I hope the point is clear. So government at the top, when government exercises authority, that is known as governance. Exercise of authority to discharge certain responsibilities. And governance, whatever the model, invariably involves a cyclical process: input, throughput and output. You collect all the information, you collect intelligence regarding the problems of society, their needs and aspirations, lot many things you collect, and then you work on that. That is throughput, is the process of governance. Okay, you work on that. Accordingly, you decide upon various policies, laws, programs, projects, as I discussed, And then what comes out is the final goods and services, and the process goes on and on. If society is happy, then you work for improvement and some other things. You work on some futuristic problems which might arise. And if society is not satisfied, then you collect feedback and then you apply correctives, and the process goes on and on. But governance is not enough. I mean, say just you just keep enacting laws or formulating policies, providing goods and services is not enough. You are required to keep pace with the changes taking place in the environmental conditions. And when we talk about environment, it is not only within the territorial boundary of the country only. It is also about the changes taking place globally. Why? Because today we are not living within the territorial boundary of our country only. It appears today we are living in a borderless world as far as influencing one another is concerned, as far as our communication is concerned. Today we are living in a mutually influencing construct. Borders are there, territorial boundary is there, but territorial boundary doesn't hold much significance when it comes to communication these days. We influence others and we get influenced by others. In different spheres of life, society, culture, economy, polity, there is a complex matrix of interdependency. We are affecting others, we are getting affected by others. Point is clear? So governance has become far more complex than what it was a few decades ago. And at the same time, we have far more, the opportunities to learn from one another, more opportunity to learn from one another as compared to what it was earlier. So both sides you need to focus. So this is the governance. Then how to improve the quality of governance? See, all governments all over the world, they cannot afford to remain complacent. Life is very fast. Everything is changing constantly. So you need to improve the quality of governance. It's just not like that you are designing and you are just delivering goods and services. From time to time, you are required to work on that. You improve the quality of goods and services. For that, we take the help of technology. So it is again this backdrop that you need to understand. You need to understand digital governance. I hope the point is clear. Okay? Digital governance. What is digital governance? When we talk about digital governance, it is about digital governance or e-governance is basically concerned with harnessing the potential of IT revolution to the benefit of governance. Or digital governance or e-governance is about creative and very productive and meaningful application of informational technology to what, how and why of governance to improve its quality so that by consequence the quality of life of the people could also be improved. Digital governance is not an end in itself. It is just means towards an end. Governance has always been in existence from time immemorial. The nature and pattern of the governance and the structure of governance has kept on changing. The governments have kept on changing, but governance has always been an integral part of all civilized societies. What is clear? So digital governance, when we talk about it, is all about ensuring systematic application or creative or productive application of information technology to improve the quality of governance. And by consequence, we can improve, among other things, we can improve the quality of life of people. This is all about digital governance. Now, what are the areas which come within the bounds of digital governance? Application of information technology. This is digital. Application of information technology to the act of governance. Why? So as to improve the quality of life of people. And how will you improve the quality of life of people? You can improve by improving your ability to take appropriate decisions. You can improve the quality of life of people by delivering goods and services with due efficiency and economy and effectiveness, better decision making, better monitoring, better control and evaluation. Getting a point? Then, with the help of information technology, you can also anticipate problems very correctly. You can anticipate many problems and you can prepare for the same. You can take decisions very fast. You can take decisions very fast in the present, and then you can prepare yourself for very tough decisions that you may have to take in future. So the scope of digital governance is very broad. It is not merely confined to provide online services to the society. That is no doubt is one of the defining characteristics of digital governance. But the more important thing is to strengthen the ability of the government to take decisions correctly, because organizations, basically the government organization or private organization, their efficiency, their success and failure to a great extent revolve around the ability to take good decisions and then to enforce such decisions with precision, with that efficiency and with impact. Broadly, entire governance, scope of governance revolve around two things: decision making and implementation of such decision. And decision making and decision implementation, or policy making, policy implementation, in both of these spheres of activity, because they are not mutually exclusive. It appears, no doubt, they are two different areas, but they are not mutually exclusive. They are interdependent, interrelated, and they are the two components of one integrated cyclical process. And this cyclical process can be revolutionized with the help of digital technology, with the help of information technology. This is the significance of digital governance. Point is clear. Application of information technology, first of all, to strengthen our ability, to enhance our ability for decision making, and then use of information technology, application of IT to improve our ability to enforce the things or implement the things efficiently and effectively with due economy. To deal with the things in the present and to deal with the things in the future, to examine the past with a new perspective. And you can analyze, you can observe, you can analyze, and with the help of new tools and techniques, you can identify the pattern in the past, and you can learn a lot many things from the examination of the past events. You can identify this pattern in a much better way, so as to understand things in the present and to anticipate the things in the future. This is about digital governance. Now have a look here. Writing is not so good. आप लोग समझ लेना, थोड़ा सा राइटिंग सही नहीं है. डेटा बेस्ड डिसीजन मेकिंग, डिजिटल गवर्नेंस का सबसे पहला एडवांटेज क्या है? डेटा बेस्ड डिसीजन मेकिंग. यू आर टेकिंग डिसीजन बेस्ड ऑन फैक्ट्स. फैक्ट्स आर द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ रियलिटीज. Facts are easily intelligible, they are calculable. So if you are taking decision based on scientifically drawn facts, getting a point, scientifically drawn facts and this is statistics, to that will extent your decision will be very much scientific. Your decision will be clearly intelligible. Your decisions will be very much rational, and they will deliver the things with an element of precision and with an element of prediction and certainty. So data-based decision making is possible because of digital governance. Then implementation, you can improve the quality of implementation. You can improve the efficiency, the level of efficiency in the implementation of policy, programs and projects of the government with the help of digital technology. So with the help of IT, implementation becomes easier. You can easily monitor how the things are being implemented. You can collect feedback. You can evaluate the performance. You can diagnose the problems in the implementation. So collection of data and information, the collection of data is processing, documentation and analysis, understanding, the pattern, then application of correctives. So everything has been revolutionized. What I mean to say, this is the significance. What I mean to say that informational technology has brought a kind of revolution. So you have, data-based decision making, very efficient implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and pinpointed accountability can be enforced. Okay, so IT, information technology, e-governance has restricted to a great extent the scope for exercise of arbitrariness by the individuals or by the institutions. When there is a program, there are directions, and accordingly you have to decide the things. Routine decisions are to be taken on the basis of the program. So there is little room for exercise of discretion. And even when you're taking non-routine decisions, here also some guidelines are provided. And your accountability can be enforced. It cannot interfere, in your mind what to decide, what not to decide. But it can certainly draw the contours and the boundary ठीक है, beyond which you can be caught hold of. So IT, information technology, has brought a kind of revolution in such field. So decision making or implementation, the monitoring has become very much easier. Then evaluation, accountability and control, enforcement of accountability, personal answerability. So everything is there. I am not going to listen to your one other excuses you keep manufacturing. It was supposed to be done by 5 o'clock. Sir, I did it. By 5 o'clock, you're supposed to mail us. By 5 o'clock, it was to be done. So the documents and whatever thing is there, it can be transmitted in no time these days. So, accountability and control. Accountability, you can have more than one points of control, so nicely connected to one another. That reciprocal arrangement. So this is possible because of information technology. So there's little room for manipulation. There's little room for manipulation or excuses or wrongful exercise of discretion or exercise of any kind of arbitrariness. The scope has been restricted, whosoever you are. So how can you decide on such thing, unless an application has been made? So you cannot go, out of way, out of turn, nothing can be done. Everything has to be done in the proper sequence. And whatever work that you have accomplished, the report has to be sent in the evening. So everything is on the record. So few days ago, few weeks and few years ago, what you did on that day at 5 o'clock, that too can be retrieved so easily. So this is information technology, and this is the beauty of digital governance. So monitoring, evaluation, accountability and control. Then feedback. These days, thanks to information technology, you can collect feedback from the society directly. You don't need to go through this cyclical process. Today, I, you and others, we give feedback to our Prime Minister directly. You go to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's app, and then you can give feedback, you can give your suggestion. You can give suggestion to Niti Aayog. You can go from time to time. These things keep happening that you are allowed. So it is possible to get suggestion. It is possible to get feedback on various projects being implemented. It's possible to get it in the no time or very short span of time. You can collect all the feedback. It is because of digital governance. Digital governance application of correctives too have become very much easier. So these are the areas. Then public participation. When we talk about a vibrant democracy, when we talk about good governance in contemporary times, it invariably involves legitimacy, openness, transparency, public participation, public accountability. So public participation in decision-making process, wherever it is possible, not in every area. Public participation and then public accountability, enforcement of public accountability of administration, the various agencies to the public at large. These things have become very much easier because of information technology. And this is trust building, transparency and trust building. If there is a transparency, accountability and control mechanism is very sound, then there is little scope for corruption or any kind of irregularity. Okay, so the government has to function, institutions have to function in keeping with some kind of impersonal arrangement or some kind of impersonal setup at the top. Rules, regulation, laws, things are being enforced with the help of information technology. So that leads to building up of trust and confidence. The extent to which the governance becomes predictable, the extent to which officials, the officials or the functionaries or institutions, the extent to which they conform to the requirement of honesty or integrity, then objectivity, impersonality, the reliability, dependability, to that extent you earn trust and confidence. So this is the significance. Transparency has led to trust building. ठीक है, प्रोएक्टिव गवर्नेंस विद द हेल्प ऑफ थैंक्स टू डिजिटल गवर्नेंस. आप देखो आज क्या हुआ, डिजिटल गवर्नेंस की वजह से अब आपको लाइसेंस बनवाना हो और या फिर आपको अपना पासपोर्ट बनवाना हो, अधिकतर चीज़ें मोबाइल पे ही हैं. ठीक है, आप इन सबको छोड़ें. कोरोना क्राइसिस में आपने देखा क्या फ़ायदा हुआ डिजिटल गवर्नेंस का. कोरोना क्राइसिस में हमने आईटी को कितना बढ़िया तरीके से हम लोग गवर्नमेंट ने यूज़ किया. इन्फॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, आपका आधार कार्ड जो है, आपका जनधन खाता पहले ही था, आपका सारी चीज़ें ऑनलाइन. बिल्कुल, तो आपके आधार कार्ड भी आपके पास है, आधार कार्ड आप दिखाई, कोई भी इरेगुलरिटी नहीं होगी. कोरोना क्राइसिस में हम लोग सोच रहे थे कि 140 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन, उसको कैसे दुनिया के लोग देख रहे होंगे कि भारत कैसे डील करेगा. लेकिन काफ़ी कंफर्टेबली, काफ़ी हद तक हम लोग, अब जो नुकसान होना था वो तो हुआ, लेकिन फिर भी जो हो सकता था उसके मुकाबले हम लोग अच्छा ही परफॉर्म किए. एंड डिजिटल गवर्नेंस प्लेड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. कोई इरेगुलरिटी नहीं हुई, कोई इनडिसिप्लिन नहीं हुई उसमें. ठीक है, सबको बता दिया गया भाई आपका ये आधार कार्ड है, ये स्लॉट आपका है, आपके मोहल्ले में, आपकी कॉलोनी में वैक्सीनेशन कार्यक्रम इस डेट को शुरुआत की होगी, आप कॉल करके अपने अपॉइंटमेंट ले लें। ठीक है, आप उस टाइम पे चले जाएं, आधार कार्ड दिखाएंगे तभी होगा, रिकॉर्ड में आ गया। ये सारी चीज़ें आज 70 करोड़ लोगों का हो गया, 50 करोड़ लोगों का हो गया है। आपने प्रायोरिटीज़ तय कर दी कि सबसे पहले हम कोरोना वॉरियर्स जो हमारे डॉक्टर्स हैं या और जो बाकी जो नर्सिंग स्टाफ वगैरह जो है उनके करेंगे, पुलिस वाले जो हैं, ठीक है, वो जितने लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं उसके धीरे धीरे एज ओल्ड लोग जो लोग हैं जिन जो किसी बीमारी से ग्रसित हैं उनको पहले करें। तो सारी आपने प्रायोरिटीज़ आइडेंटिफाई कर ली, उसके अनुसार ही वैक्सीनेशन हुआ। तो कोरोना क्राइसिस में जो कुछ हुआ वो अपने आप में बेहतरीन एग्जाम्पल है कि डिजिटल गवर्नेंस के क्या पोटेंशियल है, क्या आप कर सकते हैं। ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग इससे होती है। दूसरी बात है प्रोएक्टिव गवर्नमेंट विद द हेल्प ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, विद द हेल्प ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी। और आजकल जो नई नई चीज़ें आ गई हैं, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, एआई, जो इन सब की मदद से एक गवर्नमेंट प्रोएक्टिव गवर्नमेंट बन सकती है। मतलब कि प्रोएक्टिव गवर्नमेंट विच इज़ डीलिंग नॉट ओनली कैपेबल ऑफ डीलिंग नॉट ओनली विद द प्रेजेंट प्रॉब्लम्स बट द गवर्नमेंट विच हैज़ डेवलप्ड the capacity to anticipate things in future and to prepare for the same। आज हमारे एयरफोर्स के जो पायलट हैं, आज फाइटर पायलट्स हैं, आप उनको डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से, इन सब की वजह से आप इनसे उनको ट्रेन कर लेते हैं, उनको ट्रेन कर ले फ्यूचरिस्टिक सिनेरियो दिखाते हैं कि अगर आप इस ढंग के वार अगर फ्यूचर में हो सकते हैं कि जहाँ चाइना भी है और पाकिस्तान भी है, 2-3 और कंट्रीज़ भी हैं, तो आप उस ढंग से सारी चीज़ें आप उनको उसी तरह की सिचुएशन के लिए आप तैयार कर सकते हैं स्क्रीन पे। ये सारी चीज़ें हैं, अब वो बेटर आप लोग जानते होंगे। तो डिजिटल गवर्नेंस और डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आज एक बहुत बड़ा एक एसेट है, एक बहुत बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ है। उसको कई तरीके से यूज़ किया जा सकता है फॉर डेवलपमेंट, वेलफेयर एंड सिक्योरिटी। और लेटेस्ट ट्रेंड अब ये है कि हम लोग सिर्फ रूटीन डिसीजन के लिए नहीं, नॉन रूटीन डिसीजंस के लिए, नॉन प्रोग्राम डिसीजंस, मतलब कुछ ऐसे डिसीजंस आपको लेने होते हैं जो एक ऐसी स्थिति जो आपने पहले कभी नहीं देखी है, जो स्थिति आ सकती है फ्यूचर में। आप उस एरिया में, उस अनचार्टेड जोन में जहाँ पे चीज़ों को एंटिसिपेट करना बहुत मुश्किल है, विद द हेल्प ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी वी आर ग्रेजुअली स्ट्रेंथनिंग आवर एबिलिटी टू एंटिसिपेट इवन दोज थिंग्स which have never happened in the past but which may happen in the future, and accordingly we train our officials, accordingly we build our capacity so that we could deal with the same in the future, we are not caught unawares। अगर फ्यूचर में वो घटनाएं अगर वैसी नहीं भी घटेंगी कि जैसा हम लोगों ने सोचा था, लेकिन फिर भी ये ट्रेनिंग जो अनएक्सपेक्टेड और अनप्रेडिक्टेबल कोई घटना ऐसी घटती है, उसकी ट्रेनिंग भी अगर आपको दी गई है टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से, तो यू विल बी मच बेटर प्लेस देन द सिचुएशन व्हेन यू हैड नॉट प्रिपेयर फॉर द सेम। तो ये डिजिटल गवर्नेंस के बहुत सारे फ़ायदे हैं। डेटा बेस्ड डिसीजन मेकिंग, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, मॉनिटरिंग, इवैल्यूएशन, गवर्नमेंट की अपनी कैपेसिटी गवर्नमेंट इंप्रूव कर सकती है डिजिटल गवर्नेंस जो हो भी रहा है वो। एंड देन इफ़ द गवर्नमेंट, मतलब आप अच्छा डिलीवर तब कर पाएंगे जब आप खुद अच्छे हों और काबिल हों। आप खुद ही काबिल नहीं हैं तो आप समाज के लिए क्या करेंगे। तो डिजिटल गवर्नेंस हैज़ द पोटेंशियल, द डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, द इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, ठीक है, it has the potential to strengthen the capacity of the governance and government, and then only the government can contribute meaningfully for the welfare, development and security of the society। Point clear? So these are the points। So digital technology and digital governance has a potential to make the government proactive government। Although proactive governance or proactive government is not only the outcome of technology, it is also the outcome of the strong willingness of the government। So it is not only a matter of technology, it is a matter of will, political will as well। कुछ गवर्नमेंट ऐसी हो सकती है जिनको बेस्ट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी उनके पास है, लेकिन फिर भी वो स्टेटस कोस्ट है, जो चल रहा है उसे चलने दो। इसलिए आईटी जो है अच्छी बात है, लेकिन आईटी के साथ वो विल पावर, पॉलिटिकल विल भी होना चाहिए। एक गवर्नमेंट जो नेशनलिस्ट गवर्नमेंट है, अपने हितों की रक्षा के लिए पूरी तरह समर्पित है, उसके हाथ अगर ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी आती है तो वो उसका उपयोग अपने राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा के लिए और विकास के लिए जिस प्रकार से करेगी, वैसे वो गवर्नमेंट नहीं करेगी जो आई है सिर्फ सत्ता में बने रहने के लिए। और स्टेटस को टेंडेंसी, दोनों चीज़ें ही हैं, लेकिन डिजिटल गवर्नेंस में ये पोटेंशियल है। पॉइंट क्लियर? यहाँ तक सच है। उसके लिमिटेशंस क्या हैं? लिमिटेशंस है डिजिटल डिवाइड, हैव्स एंड हैव नॉट्स। अगर आप डिजिटल गवर्नेंस लाते हैं तो फिर ऑल ओवर द कंट्री आपको ये सारी सुविधाएं लेनी चाहिए। अगर डिवाइड हो जाए रूरल और अर्बन एरियाज़ में इस ढंग से, तो दैट विल लीड टू काइंड ऑफ द डिजिटल डिवाइड। मतलब कहीं पे डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप्ड है, कहीं पे नहीं है। तो शहरों में लोग सर्विसेज अवेल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वैसी ही सर्विस अगर गांव में आप नहीं दे पा रहे हैं तो गैप दोनों के बीच बढ़ता चला जाएगा, जो कोई बहुत अच्छी स्थिति नहीं है। ठीक है, उसके बाद जो है सेकंड आपकी है डेटा प्रिवेसी कंसर्न्स। डिजिटल गवर्नेंस का मतलब ये है कि आपसे बहुत सारी जानकारी ली जाएगी, इन्फॉर्मेशन ली जाएंगे। आप कोई भी ऐप डाउनलोड करते हैं, सरकार का भी ऐप डाउनलोड करते हैं, आप अलाउ करते चले आते हैं, बहुत सारी जानकारी जाएगी। तो इतनी जानकारी जो गवर्नमेंट के पास है, उतनी जानकारी की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी कौन लेगा? राइट टू प्रिवेसी इज द पार्ट ऑफ राइट टू लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी, आर्टिकल 21। आपकी प्रिवेसी की रक्षा करना, आपकी प्रिवेसी, आपकी जो इन्फॉर्मेशन जो सरकार के पास है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना, उसका कोई मिसयूज़ नहीं हो पाया, ये एक लिमिटेशन है जिसको गवर्नमेंट को एड्रेस करना पड़ेगा। गवर्नमेंट को अंडरटेकिंग देनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि अगर कभी भी अगर एक भी इंसिडेंट ऐसा हो गया कि जो जानकारी सरकार को दी गई थी, सरकार उसे सुरक्षित नहीं रख पाई और उसका मिसयूज अगर हुआ तो लोगों का भरोसा उड़ जाएगा। दैट इज़ वेरी प्रॉब्लमेटिक सिनेरियो। ठीक है, सीन दैट इज़ डेटा प्रिवेसी कंसर्न। देन साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट्स। गवर्नमेंट इतने बड़े डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ जब काम करेगी तो गवर्नमेंट को अपना प्रोटेक्शन भी करना पड़ेगा। साइबर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट तो हमेशा ही रहेगा, साइबर सिक्योरिटी को खतरा बना रहेगा। हैकर्स चारों तरफ ही हैं, वो आपके कहीं भी किसी साइट को हैक कर लेंगे, बहुत सारी देश की जानकारी जो उनके हाथ लग सकती है। इसलिए डिजिटल गवर्नेंस तभी सक्सेसफुल होगा जब उसके साथ आपके सेफगार्ड्स भी ऐसे होंगे कि आप साइबर सिक्योरिटी जो थ्रेट्स हैं उसको डील कर सकें। तो आपने कर तो लिया सारा डिजिटल गवर्नेंस लेकर के तो आ गए, लेकिन सिक्योरिटी पे आपने काम अगर नहीं किया है तो आप विक्टिम बन जाएंगे। You will end up losing more than what you gain from the digital governance. It is not meant for everybody. Next, the governance without human face. एक limitation digital governance का है ये कि it leads to dehumanization. हर चीज़ ऐप पे है, हर चीज़ ऑनलाइन है, तो ठीक है, थोड़ा सा वो dehumanization तो उसकी वजह से होगा, कभी कभी समस्या आएगी। कई बार हम आप भी ऐसा फेस करते हैं। अगर आपकी ये समस्या है तो आप एक दबाएं, वो समस्या है तो दो दबाएं, ऐसा है तो वहाँ जाएं, यहाँ पर मेल लिखें, यहाँ पर ऐप में चले जाएं, उसको डाउनलोड करें। तो ये कई बार हम लोग भी फंस जाते हैं। गांव में बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे होंगे और जिनको दिक्कतें आएगी। डिजिटल डिवाइड की बात हम ये कर रहे थे, ठीक है, लेकिन फिर भी अगर सब कुछ हो भी जाए तो भी गवर्नेंस विदाउट ह्यूमन फेस ये कोई बहुत अच्छी स्थिति नहीं है। इसलिए गवर्नमेंट को डिजिटल गवर्नेंस में उस मॉडल में कुछ बातें ऐसी सुनिश्चित करनी पड़ेंगी कि एकदम बिल्कुल डिटैचमेंट टाइप नहीं हो जाए। केवल गवर्नेंस इज़ नॉट ओनली एन एक्ट ऑफ डिलीवरिंग गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टू सोसाइटी, इट इज़ ऑल्सो अबाउट डेवलपिंग दैट ऑर्गेनिक कनेक्टेडनेस, दैट ट्रस्ट एंड कॉन्फिडेंस। गेटिंग अ पॉइंट? मतलब ऑफिशियल्स ऐसे नहीं लगने चाहिए कि बस वो सिर्फ कंप्यूटर पर लगे हुए हैं, सिर्फ वो सारी चीज़ें ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज ही हैं, लेकिन आपस में कोई बातचीत नहीं है। वो एक कनेक्टेडनेस, वो कोहेसिवनेस होना चाहिए। ठीक है, दिस एसेंशियल फॉर द यूनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ द कंट्री। पीपल शुड नेवर बी मेड टू फील दैट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज far away from them. There is a wall of separation between administration and society. Yes, we have to make use of information technology, but challenge is that we need to strike fine balance. That yes, this is digital. We have developed a digital model of digital governance, but is not without human face. So dehumanization should not be resorted to. It has to be done so smartly that people they come across the officials face to face and they can also interact with them. ऐसा होता है कई बार, ओला सर्विस चल रहा है, ओला का ऑफिस पता चला कि किसी ने क्राइम कर दिया ड्राइवर ने। अब उसके बाद आप ढूंढ रहे हैं कि ह्यूमन फेस कहाँ है, मतलब कोई ऑफिस तो होगा ओला का, जहाँ नहीं सब कुछ ऑनलाइन ही चल रहा है, तो नहीं कौन चला रहा है उस व्यक्ति से मैं बात करना चाहता हूँ। कई बार आप देखते हैं आपके कोई सर्विस ऐसी होती है, ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज वगैरह, कुछ आपको कोई दिक्कत अगर आ रही होती है, वाईफाई काम नहीं कर रहा है, कुछ है, बैंक में कोई दिक्कत आ गई, क्रेडिट कार्ड जो है उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम अगर आ गया, तो आप चाहते हैं कि जल्दी से एग्जीक्यूटिव से बात करें, लेकिन कई बार आप बात नहीं कर पाते हैं। अगर ऐसा है तो आप इससे बात करें, चाहे अलेक्सा से बात करें, उससे बात करें, या इंडिगो में आप देख लीजिए ऐसा होता है कई बार, या कई सारे जगह पे, मतलब वो अपने हिसाब से अच्छे के लिए करते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग कई बार परेशान हो जाते हैं कि सीधे एक पर्सन से बात करवाइए, मेरी समस्या ऐसी है जो आपके 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 कैटेगरी के अंदर नहीं आ रही है, तो एक ह्यूमन फेस की समस्या वो रहेगी। ठीक है, दीज आर सम लिमिटेशंस ऑफ डिजिटल गवर्नेंस। और फिर इसके बाद एक ये डिजिटल गवर्नेंस और फ्यूचरिस्टिक सिनेरियो क्या है? फ्यूचरिस्टिक सिनेरियो डिजिटल गवर्नेंस का ये है कि अब फ्यूचर में ये देखना होगा हाउ टू इंटीग्रेट आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, AI and all things associated, other things associated with artificial intelligence, how to incorporate that, how to make the most creative use of AI for development and security of the people. ठीक है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को लेकर के बहुत सारी बातें हो रही हैं, ठीक है, कहीं ऐसा नहीं हो कि हम लोग एफिशिएंसी तो कई मामलों में अचीव कर लें लेकिन और कई नुकसान हम लोग के हो जाएं। ठीक है, सो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस अभी एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है कि हम किस किस सेक्टर्स में कहाँ कहाँ इसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं और कैसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, क्योंकि इसका असर भारत जैसी कंट्री में जहाँ 140 करोड़ पीपल है, वहाँ पे अगर आप 140 करोड़ की जनता है उसके में अगर आप एआई अगर यूज़ करते हैं तो कई जगह पे लोगों की नौकरी जाएगी, बेरोजगारी होगी। क्या आप उन लोगों को रिहेबिलिटेट कर पाएंगे? नौकरी जा रही है कोई बात नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ अल्टरनेटिव वेज और मीन्स भी होनी चाहिए उनको अकोमोडेट करने के। अगर वो हो पाता है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो बहुत सारी दिक्कत होगी। फिर एआई को हम लोग इनकॉर्पोरेट करेंगे, एआई को अब हम लोग अब डिजिटल गवर्नेंस का हिस्सा बनाएंगे। एआई को जब इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं तो इसके कई सारे फिर लिमिटेशंस आएंगे, उसके लिए हम लोगों को अपनी तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी। उसके बाद तुम्हारे आपके हैं वो स्ट्रेंथनिंग साइबर सिक्योरिटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, जो पहले डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि वो फ्यूचर में उसे सही करना पड़ेगा। कल तो पता चला कि दो सेनाओं के बीच में युद्ध हो रहा है, दूसरी कंट्री जो उसने एआई सोल्जर्स ही भेजे, जब एआई एंकर हैं तो एआई सोल्जर्स हैं। ठीक है, तो अगर तो उससे आप डील कैसे करेंगे? तो इससे लगातार एक ऐसी दौर है जिसमें हर एक कंट्री को लगातार एक्शन में ही रहना पड़ेगा और कोई रास्ता नहीं है। उसके बाद फिर एक्सपेंडिंग डिजिटल लिटरेसी, डिजिटल लिटरेसी एंड डिजिटल लिटरेसी टू मास इट मोर टू मेक इट मोर इंक्लूसिव। द एक्सपेंडिंग डिजिटल लिटरेसी एंड टू मेक इट मोर इंक्लूसिव मतलब डिजिटल गवर्नेंस इज ए टू वे ट्रैफिक। Howsoever good a government may be, unless it develops that reciprocal relationship with the society, the governance will never be successful. Same is the case with digital governance. So digital governance means the government has started providing online services, government has developed huge digital infrastructure, but it has to be accompanied by the digital literacy. The more and more people should become familiar with that, and then only that self-sustaining cyclical process will come into existence. So it is just not enough to develop the infrastructure side by side. Gradually, the government will have to run programs and the projects so that more and more people they become literate in terms of digital technology. Okay, and then to make it more inclusive, that within the digital governance we have to bring the entire society. So its impact quotient should not remain confined. Its operational domain should not remain confined to urban areas only. It should include the entire India. It may take some time. It is an evolutionary process, but gradually, all of us are to be people. Most of the people have to be brought within the bounds of it. Then we have the last but not the least. The real challenge will be to avail of all benefits without making technology आवर मास्टर। अब इस बात को समझने के लिए हमारी कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, ये आप खुद समझ सकते हैं। आपने रजनीकांत की फिल्म देखी थी वो रोबोट, उसमें क्या हुआ था आप जरा याद कीजिए, अगर आपने देखा होगा तो अच्छी बात है। रोबोट एक लेवल है, आप रोबोट से सारे काम करवाते जाएंगे। रोबोट के अंदर आप इमोशंस भी डाल देंगे, उसे बिल्कुल जैसे ह्यूमन बींग्स महसूस कर सकते हैं वैसा वही महसूस करने लग जाए। तो पता चला कि साइंटिस्ट महोदय ने जो रोबोट बनाया वो उनकी ही प्रेमिका को लेकर भाग गया। ठीक है, उसके अंदर भी इमोशंस आ गए, उसके अंदर भी प्रेम जागृत हो गया। और बाद में फिर क्या हुआ, फिल्म में आपने देखा ही है कि रोबोट जो है वो पता चला कि कंट्रोल करने लगे सारे ह्यूमन बींग्स को। ठीक है, वो वहाँ के पूरे राजा बन गया, वो सारी चीज़ें कंट्रोल, अपनी सेना उसने खड़ी कर ली, वो तो बड़े मुश्किल से उसे कंट्रोल में लाया गया। तो एग्जैक्ट यही है कि द challenge is to avail of all the benefits of information technology without making technology our boss. तो बॉस हमेशा हमें बनाना पड़ेगा और ये आसान काम नहीं होगा। जब घर घर में आप ले आएंगे एआई, घर का काम करने के लिए भी आई, फैक्ट्री के काम के लिए, ऑफिस के लिए भी, तो कई तरह के नए चैलेंजेस होंगे, कई तरह के नए प्रॉब्लम्स होंगे। हमारी डिपेंडेंस बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ती जाएगी। फिर एक टाइम ऐसा आ सकता है कि जब लगेगा कि वो हमारे सर्वेंट हैं या हम उनके सर्वेंट हैं, ये देखना पड़ेगा। टेक्नोलॉजी शुड नेवर बिकम आवर मास्टर, टेक्नोलॉजी शुड ऑलवेज रिमेन आवर सर्वेंट। ऐसे कहने के लिए बातें बड़ी अच्छी लगती है कि क्रिएटेड कैन नेवर बी बिगर देन द क्रिएटर, लगता है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में हम लोग कई बार अपनी बनाई हुई चीज़ों के गुलाम होते चले जाते हैं। तो इन बातों का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। और फॉर दैट मैटर डिजिटल गवर्नेंस या कोई भी आप कोई कुछ भी नया ईजाद करते हैं, एवरीथिंग हैज़ इट्स मेरिट्स एंड डिमेरिट्स। ठीक है, समथिंग becomes relevant or something becomes sustainable only when the net benefit or the benefit that you draw from that technology, from that system, far outweighs its limitations. Same is the case with information technology. So instead of harboring any kind of insecurity or fear, we have to work hard so as to ensure that we explore all the possibilities while we avail of all its benefits, and to a great extent we succeed in neutralizing its limitations, its drawbacks. So as long as the net effect is in our favor, there is nothing wrong. It is on this principle only that the technologies keep functioning. जिस टेक्नोलॉजी की एक ऐसी स्थिति हो जाएगी कि उससे उसकी निगेटिविटी पॉजिटिविटी से कहीं ज़्यादा है, तो वो अपने आप ही धीरे धीरे विलुप्त हो जाएगी. सो सेम इज़ द केस विद डिजिटल गवर्नेंस. सो आज तक तो काफ़ी अच्छा ही है परफॉर्मेंस, ठीक है, कुछ लिमिटेशन जरूर होते हैं, लेकिन डिजिटल गवर्नेंस से काफ़ी फ़ायदा हुआ है. ठीक है, डिजिटल गवर्नेंस हैज़ लेड टू और इट होल्ड पोटेंशियल टू लीड टू डी ब्यूरोक्रेटाइजेशन. डिजिटल गवर्नेंस एंड डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन एकदम सिंपल है. Thanks to digital governance, thanks to creative and meaningful use of information technology, we have been able to bridge the gap between government and society. That is democratization. Democratization is the process which strengthens the cause of democracy. And what strengthens the cause of democracy? To make the common people feel important, that is democracy. Honestly, with the help of information technology, with the help of the digital infrastructure, digital governance, we are capable of involving people in the governance. So they are capable of expressing their views, their opinion. They can provide feedback. They can also enforce the accountability of the government and administration. So the wall of separation between government on the one hand and administration on the other, to a great extent, has been brought down. So you can say that digital governance has a role to play, or it has played an important role in the process of democratization of society. Democratization. Point is clear? Not democratization of society, हमने ज़्यादा बोल दिया. Democratization, the process of I said democracy. Democracy, more particularly in the context of polity and governance. ठीक है, democracy has been, cause of democracy has been strengthened. Public participation and public accountability. Then digital governance and debureaucratization. There's a link. Debureaucratization does not mean doing away with bureaucracy, doing away with the evils of bureaucracy. Thanks to information technology, to a great extent, we have done away with red tapeism, too much of formalism, rules. Everything is transparent. It is on the screen. So the possibilities of manipulation, possibilities for corruption, possibilities of arbitrary exercise of authority power. Even though the bureaucrats work within the bounds of common legal code, still there's a lot of scope. So manipulation, the arbitrariness to some extent, or too much of formalism, complex rules and procedures, things have been done away with. Simple देख लो, आज आपको पासपोर्ट अगर बनवाना हो या आपको ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस अगर चाहिए, तो वो घूमना, चक्कर काटना, यहाँ वहाँ सब मामला खत्म. आप मोबाइल फ़ोन से सारी चीज़ें कर सकते हैं, अपना स्लॉट बुक कर सकते हैं, आप पहुँच जाएंगे, वहाँ पे टेस्ट ड्राइव है, जो भी कुछ है आप टेस्ट अपना दे करके आइए, ठीक है, और दिन के बाद आपको अपना सही टाइम पे मिलेगा, कोई भी बिल्कुल हैसल फ्री. ठीक है. सो ब्यूरोक्रेटिक जो रूल्स, रेगुलेशन, डस्ट एंड हीट, वो सब मामला ख़त्म है काफ़ी हद तक. जो बहुत कुछ आप फेस करते थे, धूल खा रहे हैं, घूम रहे हैं, फिर रहे हैं धूप में, यहाँ से वहाँ 2 दिन 5 दिन, अब वो चीज़ें हट गई हैं. तो debureaucratization, digital governance has done away with the evils of bureaucracy to some extent. I am not saying that bureaucracy has become very good, everything is hunky and dory. It's not like that, but to some extent it has done away with some evils of bureaucracy. It has restricted the scope for exercise of too much of formalism or arbitrariness. Getting a point, the wall of separation has been done away with to some extent between bureaucracy and the society. And then you have decentralization. Thanks to information technology, the decision-making authority can be shared. It can be shared. Thanks to information technology, it has become possible to delegate and to decentralize operations. Why? Because decentralization can be successful only when you have means and mechanism to enforce accountability. Decentralization means creating an independent center of decision making. But how can you think of developing an independent center of decision making unless you have effective means and mechanism to exercise control if things go off the track? Point is clear? So IT or digital governance has made it possible to go for decentralization. Large and complex organization, you can share your power, authority with your subordinates, with your colleagues. You decide the things on and send the report. Because you have means and mechanism that you can interact with them, anytime. That you can interact with them, you can seek any information, you can enforce their answerability in almost no time. All such things are possible because of information technology. That's why it is not so much difficult to go for decentralization. That's why big MNCs, many MNCs, they are working in different parts of the world, more than 100, 130 countries. It has been possible to get extent because of digital governance, because of digital infrastructure. Honestly, so these are the possibilities of digital governance. Point clear? So sum it up. Governance, as I discussed, forget about digital, as I said, forget about digital, that focus only on governance. And governance is the exercise of authority. Governance, the government in action is governance. The nature, content, and orientation of the governance decides whether it is a good governance or the bad governance, or ethical governance, or digital governance. So if you succeed in making very creative and productive utilization of information technology to improve the quality of governance, and by consequence to improve the quality of life, then it qualifies to be called digital governance. It is all about application of information technology to what, how, and why of governance to improve its quality, and then to deliver the goods and services, or to work for the cause of society in a much better way. So digital governance. So I talked about governance, and then I brought information technology. Then I discussed that IT has ample potential to bring changes. It has brought changes in the realm of decision making and decision implementation, whether it is a decision making or implementation or monitoring or evaluation, enforcement of accountability, taking routine decisions or taking non-programmed, non-routine decisions, dealing with the present and then anticipating things in the future and preparing for the same. Lot many things are there. This is all about digital governance. It has huge potential, but it has certain limitations as well. It runs the risk of dividing society between haves and have-nots, digital divide, then cyber security threats, which has to be taken care of. It can bring dehumanization. So overall, like any other thing, it has positive as well as negative things. Then one more thing that I discussed, that digital governance has led to democratization. It has led to debureaucratization, it has led to decentralization. Democratization, the most important, because of digital governance, because of the very creative and effective use of information technology, we have been able to bring government and society much closer to each other. Democratization, making people feel important. Why? Because they can participate in decision making process and they can also enforce the accountability. Is about digital governance. And finally, I said that every technology is like a double-edged sword. So the wielder of the sword has to be skillful. Otherwise, he might end up injuring himself. Same is the case with IT or technology or most of the technology. So our ability to ensure that while we enjoy and avail of, or we harness the potential of information technology in the governance to our benefit, without allowing its limitations to find expression. That depends on our ability. This is all about digital governance. I hope the point is clear. In case you have any problem, write to us and we'll explain the things further. Thank you.